Good Monday makers, and welcome back to another episode of Maker Pipe Monday. This is our weekly build roundup series where we showcase projects from the community and see a lot of cool hacks and techniques and ways that people are solving problems and completing builds. We love doing this, and today we're looking at a UTV hood rack, a tomato shelf, a boat blind, a deck canopy, and a really cool hidden speaker mount for a drop ceiling. A lot of great projects and great techniques we're going to check out. Let's jump right in. First up is this UTV hood rack from Jason. And apparently this is a really common accessory for UTVs and side-by-sides. They're used most commonly for hunting, I found out. You kill a deer and you want to haul it back to camp. You can put it inside this basket, makes it hauling it a lot easier. And they're pretty expensive. When I did some research, I found out these are a few $100s and they look pretty much similar, exactly like this. And he did it, I would say, if I had to guess, I would say this is probably around 100, 125. If you're watching Jason, definitely let us know. I'd love to know what the final cost was, if it saved you some money. But I think so, because looks like 8 connectors. I see 4 T connectors here in the front. And in the back here, he used a 180-degree connector for the corners, which allowed him to have this kind of overhang of this pipe. And then a pipe went around the front here, and it looks like he bent the pipe all the way around the corners. It looks nice. And I think those are 4-way connectors underneath the 180s to kind of do the same thing, just have the corner connection here that sends the bent pipe up and around. And that's how he made the basket. And it looks like there's some coroplast or just some kind of a small thin sheet that's here on the bottom, and that's kind of just the bottom of the basket. And then to actually mount the rack to the UTV, it looks like he used some pre-existing hardware that was made for the bumper and made for the side here. So it looks like there's just a clamp that goes around the bumper, and it sends this, looks like maybe aluminum or steel pipe up, and he used that to connect to the conduit. Apparently this other side of the clamp, or this mount, was similar diameter conduit, and that allowed him to just secure the basket directly to these pre-existing mounts in the front. On the side, it looks like there's some like L brackets or something that attaches to the fender of the UTV, and then that pre-existing mount goes up and it goes into the connector there on each side. And it looks like there's maybe a shim there. Maybe we can see in another picture. Here's a good shot of it from the front. You can see the T connectors here that he's using to just add the kind of the pipe in between the two rungs around the bottom and top. And yeah, I can't tell, but it looks like this diameter of this mount is a little smaller than conduit, so it looks like he just shimmed it into the connector. Works great, looks awesome, looks like a great project that's working out well for you. And again, I think 8 connectors and maybe like 2 sticks of conduit, maybe even 1 stick of conduit. So I would say probably about 100, 125. I don't know how much those pre-existing mounts are, but if those aren't too expensive, then I think this was saved a lot of money, which is really great. We love hearing that. So thanks, Jason, for sharing that. We love seeing it. Really cool project. Next up is this tomato shelf from Paul, and it looks like he's growing tomatoes hydroponically using a bucket method, which is really common. He's got a simple mount for them. He's just got some cinder blocks here with some wood on top of the cinder blocks to hold all the buckets. And he said he's expecting these tomato plants to grow 12 to 15 feet tall, and he's using conduit and maker pipe attached to the house as kind of a mount for a trellis system. So the tomato plants can climb these ropes here and then kind of hang on the pipes up here as well. And he did that using, he said he drilled into the mortar, and then he's using just some screws through the conduit and into the mortar, which is a really simple way to do it. Looks like there's 3 verticals total, one here, one in the middle there, and then another one on the outside. He's connecting a pipe in the back using a T connector. And you can see this is not exactly flush with the house, and this will allow the tomatoes to go up, and then they can hang off the other side if they want, or just keep growing along the back pipe. So that was really smart. So from the verticals, he's got a T connector that sends this pipe forward, and then another T connector somewhere up here in the corner that attaches and sends a pipe in the front all the way down, and then connected to a T connector on the other side. And in the middle, he's using a T connector to send a pipe back to the middle vertical, and then he's bracing all 3 verticals with 45-degree connectors. So there's 2 per vertical, and you can see it just adds a brace here from the back vertical to this horizontal pipe on the top. He did that on all 3 of them. Then he's just attaching the rope over top of the conduit, and then it's down here secured to the bucket. And that's going to be great. It's going to allow the tomatoes to easily climb and grow really tall and grow really well. So that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that, Paul. We love seeing it. Really great project. We love seeing it in the community. Next up is a build from Brian, and this is a boat blind that he's working on. He said it's a work in progress, but he wanted to share the frame with everybody before we painted it. And he's got this nice boat, and it looks like he used bent conduit, or he bent some conduit here to kind of match the shape of the boat. And he's got this going all the way around the outside of the boat. It continues in the front and then goes around the other side as well. And then from that bottom pipe, he used T connectors to send some vertical support pipes up. And then there's another rung that's kind of offset and kind of makes kind of goes up and is offset there. And it looks like that's bent again to match the shape of the boat. And he's got that pipe goes back and is bent down and is attaching to the boat somewhere back here. And we can't really see exactly where this is secured to the boat. We've seen a few methods. People use Bimini connectors and things like that. If you're watching, Brian, we'd love to know how you attach it to the boat. I think that would be helpful for people to know. But it looks like he's got some bent pipes that are secured to the boat. And this is going kind of behind this wall, so we can't see exactly what the mount is. But looks like he's got that going all the way around and a lot of T connectors to just add those verticals going up to the top rung or the middle rung, I guess. And then he's using some adjustable brackets, maybe some adjustable angle connectors. Can't tell. I don't think those are adjustable angle connectors. I think they're just some brackets that clamp around the pipe and then have an adjustable piece up here. And I imagine that's useful if you want to kind of, go down with them, and that will allow you to look out the boat. Then whenever you're ready to, kind of camp somewhere or kind of hunker down, you can, send those up, and that'll add a nice support for the canvas material. And he said that's the next step. He's going to be painting the frame, then adding the canvas and materials. So that's awesome. We can't wait to see how it turns out, Brian. Thanks so much for posting this on the Facebook group. And I want to mention the next couple of projects are actually from the Facebook group. And if you don't know, we have a community on Facebook. We have a lot of people in there. They always help each other and post a lot of cool things. So it'll be linked down below. And again, you can join that for free, of course. It's just another way that you can kind of see projects, get ideas, and kind of hang out with people and talk about builds and things like that. So that'll be linked down below. But again, thanks, Brian, for sharing that. We love seeing it. Next up is this deck canopy from Kevin. And this was really simple. And I love this design. He said he had an 8x10 porch that he couldn't find a canopy that really fit well. So what he did was he used the new flange connectors here in the corner. As you can see, there's 4 corners, and he used a flange connector in each corner. And he's using a set screw to just secure that vertical even more. And you can see there's a vertical in each corner. There's one there, one on this side, and then in the back as well. And they're all attached to the deck using the flange connectors. From those verticals, it looks like he used 90-degree connectors in the corners, and this allowed him to make the square shape that goes all the way around. There's a pipe that goes down the back, and there's one in the back we can see there, and then around the other side, and then of course this one here in the front. From there, he added braces. He used 45-degree connectors just to add a 45-degree brace from each vertical up to the top pipe. Did the same thing in the back, and then from the back to make a peaked or pitched roof, he used T connectors to send a pipe at an angle up. And there's 135-degree connectors here. I think there's 4 total here to achieve a nice sloped roof, and it looks really awesome. We love seeing the 135-degree connectors used for a roof. Here's a good shot of them. They kind of go up. And what's really smart here is you may not know, but you can use T connectors on the pipe to achieve an angle. You have the adjustable angle connector for, if you're working on a different plane, but the T connectors are great if you want to do, straight, if you're trying to do a square or corner connection, but, you can also orient them like this. So you have an angle, and that's what he did to achieve that peaked roof. Is really smart. Looks like his canvas material or sunshade has grommets in it already. So he used ball bungees to secure that to the pipe. Really simple method, but it works great. It looks like he's got some mesh netting around the outside as well that he can slide around the conduit and open and close those. So that's really awesome. He said he had some 30-mile-an-hour plus winds, and it held up great with no movement. So that's really awesome to hear. And he said now we can grill outside, even if there's bad weather coming in. So that's really awesome to hear. And really great to see. He said it was his first Maker Pipe project. So that's really cool, Kevin. Thanks so much for sharing that in the Facebook group. Really awesome to see. Next up is a project from Rob. And this is a really smart way to do a hidden speaker. So you can see here's kind of the finished project. And he's got this speaker here. It looks like they have a nice finished basement. Usually you see those drop ceilings in finished basements, but maybe they have a movie theater down here. Maybe they just wanted to, have a man cave. But whatever the reason, he wanted to add these speakers from the ceiling, and he did a really smart way to make like a hidden mount. And you can see in the drop ceiling, he drilled a hole through the tile, and then up here he's got a piece of plywood that he cut out to match the exact same kind of size of the tile, and he drilled through that as well. And this allowed him to run a piece of conduit through the tile and the piece of wood. And then he used a flange connector oriented, like you normally would, same way as it was on the deck canopy. But instead of the conduit going up out of the flange, it's going out the bottom through the tile and through the wood. And that created the mount for the speaker. And then to attach the speaker to that mount, he used a 1/4-20 insert here in the conduit, and then attached to a threaded insert on the speaker here. And then he had this short stub piece of conduit, and he used a adjustable angle connector to attach that, as you can see here. And you can see he ran the speaker wires through the conduit, through the connector, and they come out of the gap of the connector and then connect to the speaker. That's really awesome to see. Normally conduit is used for electrical work, but he actually used it to run wires for the speakers in his DIY project. So that's really cool. And then he used the adjustable angle connector to achieve this nice angled speaker mount. And you could adjust that if you wanted to kind of change where the sound is coming from, which is really awesome. Really great project, Rob. A great hack for drop ceiling and just for mounting a kind of a hidden speaker. Looks great and really cool. You can find this in the Facebook group and all the projects. We really appreciate everybody sharing them. It's really awesome to see, and we love doing these episodes, so keep on posting them. Thanks, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions or need any help with the build, let us know down in the comments, or you can call us, email us. We're always here to help. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.